I am pretty sure all of us watching this video personally know a daredevil. A savage or wild person who usually throws away all sense of safety for an adrenaline rush, or to prove a point. For some, this is us either now or an earlier part of life. For others, it's a friend or family member, most likely a child or person who was a child at heart. Today's daredevil was a record breaker. Willie "Suicide" Jones was a parachutist who is famous for holding the record for the delayed parachute jump in 1939. Welcome to the Melanated Wings Collection, presented by Better Endeavors, LLC. This week's episode, Volume 1, Episode 10, retelling the escapades of Willie "Suicide" Jones, the fearless parachuter. Willie Jones does not have a definitive place or date of birth. He is believed to be born in 1915 on a farm near Leland, Mississippi. He ran away from the farm at age 13 and came upon a field where he saw his first airplane and developed his love for flying. Willie was given a ride by the pilot who happened to be a wing walker, and on his first ride was given instruction on how to go out on the wing of the airplane. From this initial experience, Jones began his career as a stunt aviator. Jones was well known in the stunt circuit and knew most of the pilots who performed stunt flying. There are officially 2 records of how he got his nickname, Suicide. One account indicates that he made a jump in 1934, where his ripcord became entangled in his bootlaces. He struggled to get his chute opened, and with only seconds left, he managed to get it open. Because no one saw him land, his pilot thought he was dead and was surprised when he appeared the next day, alive and well. Another account of how he got his nickname, Suicide, occurred when he made a jump for the government in a test of searchlights in Little Rock, Arkansas, for the Coast Guard. He jumped from a plane at over 10,000 feet while bright lights blinded him and he could not see the ground. He was forced to estimate his height and pull the ripcord when he thought he was close to the ground. Jones was blinded for several days from this experience. Several white parachutists had refused to make the jump before Suicide Jones's jump. This jump put him in a class by himself. Jones continued to accept challenges, including his legendary record for a delayed parachute jump. After several attempts to capture the record, he succeeded on March 2, 1939. Suicide made a successful jump at Chicago's Municipal Airport. He jumped from an airplane and did a free fall. He did not pull the ripcord to open his parachute until he had fallen 24,468 feet, which was only 800 feet above the ground. According to the African-American newspaper, the Chicago Defender, he joined the Hollywood Flying Circus, a group that did stunt movies. Throughout the 1930s, Jones competed in U.S. Army air shows while becoming one of the best jumpers in the country. World War II interpreted the barnstorming business, and Suicide Jones is reported to have joined the Merchant Marines. An article in the 1950 Ebony magazine refers to him as an ex-merchant seaman. After the war, he was known to have worked in the Chicago area air shows. Suicide Jones also had an interest in long-distance flying records, although there is no record of him ever attempting to physically challenge one of these records. He had announced before the war that he was going to attempt to break Howard Hughes' long-distance record by flying from New York to Seattle and back. Again, in May of 1947, he announced his intention of attempting to beat the around-the-world record that had been set earlier by Milton Edwards. His idea was that he would be the first African-American to attempt to fly around the world. 2 other African-Americans had already announced their intentions to be the first to accomplish this feat: Thomas Cox Allen and Hubert Fauntleroy Julian. However, the 2 never made any such flights either. Jones continued to jump until well into the 1940s. The last known press conference was in Chicago at a celebration ceremony honoring Cornelius R. Kofi on July 22, 1980. What do you think of Jones's theatrics? Does it remind you of anyone close to you or yourself? Leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. Our next aviator was nowhere near as bash, but was very brave in his own right. He was mentioned in our previous episode that covered Chief Anderson. Dr. Albert E. Forsyth was with Anderson during their famed Goodwill flights, which resulted in the first international for African American pilots. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications of next week's episode's premiere, along with others to come during our first volume. Feel free to visit our website listed in the description below to learn more about our Volume 1 Chronicles. As always, have an uplifting day and stay up.